Hi everybody, my name is Hector Ouellet. I'm the head of design for Search, Assistant, and News family of products.
So I'm Dina Anglin, and I'm a senior user experience researcher here at Google.
I'm Dee Speed. I'm a UX director here at YouTube.
My name is Cam Lazandier. I'm a user experience engineer.
I'm Maggie Stanfill. I'm a UX director at Google. My name is Fatima Richmond. I'm a user experience researcher.
My name is Ramya. I'm an interaction designer at Google.
3 words. Wow.
In 3 words,
The UX culture at Google is purposeful, it's inclusive, and full of innovation, actually.
Nurturing, open, and collaborative.
Expanding, evolving, and awesome.
Voice of user.
put users first.
I'd say it was a healthy challenge.
I would say it's ambitious, innovative, and collaborative. It's ambitious because UX culture reflects Google culture, where it's constantly challenging us to think 10x.
Good isn't good enough. Being able to provide alternate takes on how to solve a problem with no egos involved.
Google is very famous for its iterative culture and nature. We have this relentless optimism to drive and to aspire the right responses or the right solutions so they can resonate with our users.
So my favorite thing about Google UX is the sense of community. It's something that I haven't really experienced at any other company.
I have other people that I can lean on, whether it's for management help, whether it's for discussing the latest trends.
It's very much where I found my tribe at Google. I found so many close friends and colleagues this way.
I came in thinking that I didn't have anything to contribute to the community personally. What could I add? And I found the community to be very encouraging and say, no, there's something you can add.
We start with the premise, focus on the user and all else follows. It's about them, not about us.
Putting research first. We design for products for people who are all over the world. So going out there in the field to observe and learn from users in their context is one of the big ways we put users first.
We try to ensure that we're designing not just for here, but that we're really designing for all.
So it starts with empathy. So with that culture of moonshots or trying to achieve the impossible, what design allows us to do is to help in that process is have this empathy with the user.
I think empathy comes in play with everything we work on at Google. For example, for next billion users, we keep that in mind with everything, with the design configurations we make. I think that making the world's information more accessible, that is something that all users, as much as possible, need to be able to have available to them.
We really try hard to find opportunities of magical moments across the different products. So I work in G Suite, so we're a suite of apps. And I think we put a lot of care into finding opportunities for our apps to integrate with each other so that from the user perspective, it doesn't feel like a large company with different product areas. It actually feels like a suite of products.
So my favorite thing about the culture of UX at Google is that I've been able to interact with people from different walks of life, so people who come from different backgrounds. So I came from a computer science background and I do research, and there are other people who come from social science background or they were a lawyer before, and they're all doing the same thing. To me, that's fascinating because it shows that UX is a field that's really like a melting pot of academic backgrounds.
I'm a design-oriented engineer, and I always had a passion for design. And to me, I learned engineering to be able to appreciate design better by being able to more realize the intents I had of the concepts and the visuals of things and being able to directly impact how users use products. Building for scale is taking into consideration at the concept, at the prototyping phase as well as the actual implementation phase, how to exactly approach the problem for the amount of users that need to be accounted for. And there's many solutions to a problem, so when working at Google scale, we have to take that into consideration with not taking just the simplest route, but perhaps an alternate take in order to accommodate as much users as possible with our products.
The way we design inclusively is an important thing we do at Google. It's important because the products that we do are at scale. I think I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it's all about empathy. Empathy of understanding that user need, that I said earlier, they don't change. That user need and how other people are going about it. For example, we know that people in, let's say, Ghana or India, and the way they consume information is different. Most of the products that we did from the beginning are just based on one language. But guess what? Many people in the world speak more than one language, and actually they just alternate it really quickly. So we have a deep role into helping translate and contextualize such content so other people that want access can understand it.
It's important that we design and we're inclusive of a global audience because we do aspire to help as many people as we can. Empathy has to be at the heart of everything you do because it proves that you understand the person or the people that you're talking to, their needs. You can relate to their needs, which means you can address them more thoroughly and in a more complete way.
As a leader at Google, my design philosophy is very much informed by my values. Many of those center around inclusion, and we believe deeply in inclusion. It is one of the broader principles at Google.
I think some of the wonderful work that the NBU team is doing, working with users in different markets and emerging markets like India, Indonesia, to just learn and see how people interact with technology in those areas. I think the important thing about when we design for different cultures is to, again, empathize with different cultures, understand where they're coming from, and use the design language that we have, Google Material, in an appropriate way. So whether that means tweaking the color palette to match someone's cultural sensitivities, or even just using specific language that we use in our products to make sure that we're speaking the same language as the person who's using the product, not in just the literal language sense, but also using the same phrases, using the same, even the sense of humor is different between different cultures. So just being sensitive to all of those different nuances and designing with them, keeping those things in mind.
Designing for accessibility is part of our fundamental process.
There are so many resources available internally at Google from experts who have done research in this field for so many years, and so many tools as well on how to design for keeping in mind various different accessibility needs that people might have.
We have some really awesome accessibility rock stars. They create these principles so that throughout your entire process, you can look at these principles and gauge how accessible your products are. They also connect you with Googlers who may be a part of the accessibility community who can help test your products.
So I really see the future of design heading in a space where our design team reflects the people who we're designing for. As a Black user experience practitioner at Google, I took the initiative to start a community called Black UX Network. And I believe there is a need to address representation in UX at every angle. So it helped to merge all the things I liked, technology, doing research and talking to people and working on hard challenges.
I think it's going to be loss of actual input mechanisms that we've traditionally had, things like the keyboard, the mouse. We're moving further ahead with things like voice, being able to recognize different voices. So the input methods are definitely going to change.
I think the next big thing in design will actually be consumer design trends making its way in enterprise design products. It reminds me of a talk by Catherine Courage, Amy Loki, and some of the other UX design leaders at UXU, where we talked about what are some trendy consumer experiences that are making it into enterprise design software. I think over the next few years, we'll see a lot of those data visualizations and delightful experiences making it into enterprise design products.
The future of UX and design is really around empathy. We had data, we could measure data, but what we're really finding is that some of the more qualitative measures are in some regard a better indicator for user satisfaction.
Designing experiences that actually help us detach ourselves away from technologies, the joy of missing out. Thinking about creative ways to let people know that you're taking a break from technology right now.
Designers and UX practitioners across the world being more and more responsible and feeling that responsibility for designing interaction with technology. As more and more technology enters our homes and we use it in very many different ways today, we start seeing designers thinking about not just their one-on-one interaction with that product, but also the broader implications of what that might mean for that human's life.
The discipline per se of design is expanding. we're going in this pivot or this shifting from a more declarative or more predictable way of creating to something that is more learning and adapting. With ML and AI, the way it's changing the discourse or of the dialogue is fascinating. The way I see it is how my daughter learns. And the way she learned how to ride a bike was not by riding the bike per se. She was learning this concept of balancing, and then she learned this notion of pedaling with a different object. I think it's something from the kitchen from my wife. And then she was able to put those things together when we put pedals to her bike. She never used the training wheels. She was able to learn and adapt constantly to the situation in order to produce the outcome that she wanted. That learning and adapting is how we are shifting in the way we create products and the way people will consume our products. And we have an amazing set of inspiration, which is humans, people. Technology is for the people, right? And we're there to build that. So that's where design is heading.